The idea with your footwork is that you've got a stance position, which is where you're able to defend from and attack from. And then you've got your footwork is literally a temporary distortion of one of those stances to travel.
Fighters, welcome back to another episode of Heatrick Muay Thai Performance.
The shadow boxing part, just to sort of tie that back as well, you can see how if you're practicing shadow boxing, and especially if you're throwing kicks and knees and stuff like that, because you're not able to kind of lean into a bag for your balance, you're having to learn how to keep your center of gravity over your foot. So that's where it's a really useful tool. But then the skill is a little different when you do start hitting something. But if you're not good at balancing while you're shadow boxing, then it's not a good idea just to have someone hitting the heavy bag and almost leaning into the bag for a bit of balance, because that's where you'll find in a fight, you're just clumsy. Your shotgun recoil is all over the place, and you're depending on your opponent or the heavy bag to keep your balance, and they're not behaving in that same way, and it all starts to go to pot. So yeah, as a balance drill, shadow boxing is brilliant. I would really encourage you now, with your awareness of what balance is and how it should feel, the idea with your footwork is that you've got a stance position, which is where you're able to defend from and attack from. And your feet are in a certain position to maintain really good balance, but also still in Muay Thai, because of low kicks to our base of support, our legs, we need to be able to pick up either leg at any time and not be like, oh, I've got my stance is like way too long and I've got all my weight committed to like my front leg, for example, and there's not a chance in hell I could pick that leg up to block. That's why the Muay Thai stance is a little shorter and squarer on than most stances, because we have to be able to defend and lift both legs up. So your base of support between when you've got your 2 feet on the floor in your stance, your center of gravity needs to be right in the middle of that, and you're able to just shift and pick up either foot at any time. I see your stance as being your all-round position, and you've got those sort of fundamental stances. So you've got like your regular fighting stance where you've got that distribution on the feet. The rear foot has got a bit more of the ball of the foot on the floor, the heel's lifted. The front foot could have a little bit of heel lift, but mainly the front foot's flat to the floor. And then you can pick up either foot at any time. You can block, you can attack from there. Then you've also got like a back stance, effectively, where you've got that weight on the back foot and you're tapping the front foot and you're waiting to sort of teep or block, or you've got that sort of attitude where you've committed more weight to the back foot. And they're kind of like primarily your 2 main stances that you've got in Muay Thai. And then you've got your footwork is literally a temporary distortion of one of those stances to travel. But you, as quickly as possible, you want to get back to a stance again. So if you're advancing, it's like the footwork is to stretch that stance a little too long. And if I'm attacked here, I'm not in the best position to defend, I can't just block. So I'm immediately, bring up that back foot now back to a stance again. So I'm literally like transition, stance. And I'm feeling like, where's my balance when I get back to my stance? That's how you should be practicing your footwork, really feeling where is my balance as I'm doing this, and starting to use that little visualization and role play. Like I'm practicing movement. Okay, what would happen if I'm attacked now? How would I block with my legs? How would I almost sort of sink down, sort of flex my hips and knees and ankles and just squat down a little bit more to absorb, to brace? All of that kind of stuff is coming together and just becoming really aware of how that balance feels as you're moving. When I was first taught Muay Thai, I actually had quite a traditional teacher here in the UK, and he taught us Yang San Khum, the 3 strides movement. And we just used that as part of our warm-up all the time. And literally, he would just have us doing that at the beginning of the session. So it's just step, catch up, and then backing up, and then going off on an angle, step, catch up, and we just did lots and lots of that. And at the time, you're thinking, oh, can we get on with the kicks and the punches and all this kind of stuff? But it was the people that were really good at that were like, they're the ones that could spar really well. They're the ones that had consistent power. They're the ones you couldn't hit, all that. And it's like, it does feel boring, but actually, if you're good at it, it just transforms everything you do. I remember the first time I went out to Thailand, I'd not done this before either. It's quite commonplace But there's the stepping on the truck tires, all that kind of stuff, where you just pace, pace, pace on the truck tires. And they had us on the tires. In the UK at that time, there was nothing like, no one did anything like that, and we were just stepping. But the diameter of the tire meant that your stance had to be pretty much in the right place. Otherwise, you'd fall through the hole in the middle if you were too narrow, or if you were too wide, you'd be falling off the edges. And it was just step, and it was like calves having to work. So it was almost like walking on the beach, in the sand. It was robbing your calves of energy. But just that step, and just getting used to transferring weight between the front foot and the back foot. That was that actually transferred really well, I found, into my footwork afterwards. When I came back to the UK and we didn't have truck tires and stuff in the gym or anything like that, I found when I was stepping and moving around, I was like, I can really feel what those tires did for me. So that's another. I don't know if that's at the gym you're at. It's a bit of an old traditional training method. I'm not so sure if you'd have that still going on or not. Something I found really useful, it's the timing of the hands with the step of the feet is really important as well for that transfer of energy. It was something else I found, because say back when I first went to Thailand there and I was on those tires, they also made you hold these tiny little leather wrapped hand weights. They weren't very heavy at all, but it's just enough to sort of make the shoulders have to work a bit harder. And you had to step on the tires and you had to punch with the weights as you're stepping. And it got you used to, as you step the front foot, you were pushing out the lead hand. And as you step the back foot, you pushed out the rear hand. And it was like step, 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 step. And you were just throwing that as you were stepping the feet. The hands were coming out. And you were sort of getting this sort of action. And I found that really translated well then into footwork. As I was stepping forwards at my opponent, it's almost like I push off my back foot. And as I step onto that front foot, boom, the jab comes out. And if you think I've moved out of my stance now, I've stepped forwards, my stance is a little longer as I've stepped. And then what I was doing is dragging my rear foot up to return back to my stance length. As I drag that rear foot up and my hip comes in, boom, the rear hand comes out. So it's like stretch, catch up, stretch, catch up, bring the back foot in. I did a video on the mechanics of this, because it really makes sense once you kind of get into it. So when you step forwards and as you drag your rear hip up, there's almost like the front foot acts as a brake to stamp down when you throw your cross. So it torques your hips the opposite way. So as you bring your rear leg up, it twists your hips into it, throws your rear shoulder into it. So when you're stepping, it's like step, catch up, and it's like there's your car crash action. If you can start to feel that from your footwork, all of a sudden, and you can just do it from pacing on the floor and just feel there's that braking action. I felt it just threw my shoulder into that. And that's the timing we want. So yeah, start with literally just the footwork. Keep it kind of very simple. So the cognitive load is kind of, I'm just thinking stepping and balance and just directions. So we've got that little module in the program on footwork. So just forwards and back, using diagonal movements. It might be you just stick with that to begin with, because I'm trying to feel where my balance is on all of this. If you feel good for it, you could be like stepping and rotating, all of that kind of stuff. Start adding that in. And then you can start adding in, right, stepping and blocking, all these kind of movements, stepping and changing your stance. So I call it a shuffle when you don't change stance, where it's just stretch, catch up, retreating, stretch, catch up, stretch, catch up. Your feet don't change order, but then walking and stepping in and being comfortable in the opposite stance and walking and stepping in. And that covers twice as much ground typically. So I like to use both of those. So that's something else to sort of bring in. But being confident with your balance in your orthodox stance, so you feel comfortable and confident there, but then also being able to step into your opposite stance, and you'll probably never feel as comfortable as you will in your regular stance, whatever that is for you. But you need to not feel completely out of the water and vulnerable, that you can't attack or defend there. I've literally seen people that if they're stepped in their opposite stance, they can't even hold their guard up properly. It feels so uncomfortable for them. There's gaps. And it's horrible if you feel like that. You've really got to make sure that's not happening. So you can practice that when you're stepping in your footwork is really what I'm saying as well. You can step and move and be like, okay, yeah, I actually feel I'm okay whichever way round I go here. I'm getting comfortable with being here and doing a bit of visualization. Like imagine something's coming in. Could I defend even if I'm in my opposite stance? And what footwork would I use to get back out of range and back into my regular stance and then reorientate and square up to your opponent again and get them back in your headlights, if you like, so that you're facing them and they're not getting round beside you. Yeah, all of that kind of thing. All of that can be drilled as well as the balance and the footwork. It's that side of the game too.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.